to Oops, All Apocalypses, a show where we explore the collapse of society by playing fun tabletop role-playing games. I'm your host, Stu Masterson, and I'm joined by 2 of the 23 flavors of Dr. Pepper.
Ooh, I'm going to be the little hidden spice. This little spicy note.
Coriander?
Sure, I don't think there's coriander in Dr. Pepper.
It's gotta be. Guaranteed.
I am the flavor that's cough syrup, cough medicine.
It does kind of taste like that. Are you not a fan of Dr. Pepper?
I think Dr. Pepper is shitty root beer. I think it's root beer for people who like the taste of children's
You
Motrin.
absolute bastard.
I think it's root beer for people who like the taste of cough syrup. I think it's root beer for people who like the artificial root beer, which is Dr. Pepper.
Incorrect opinion here. A wrong opinion if I've ever heard it.
Dr. Pepper can eat my ass. I hate it.
You would be
It's
lucky
just-
if a PhD would do that to you.
Get this man off my podcast.
Dr. Pepper is just worst root beer. What's good about it?
Well, first of all, it tastes nothing like root beer. It is my first comment.
That's
is what
my
I would
point,
say.
though, is that like it tastes like if someone tried to recreate the flavors of root beer without any of the roots in the root
I think
beer.
you're looking at it from the wrong perception because you're saying, oh, this is root beer with none of the things that taste like root beer, which is a really dumb way to say anything. That's like saying this is like mac and cheese without macaroni and cheese. What you really should be doing is looking at it and going, this is Coca-Cola with good flavors.
It's like if someone described what root beer tastes like to someone who has never tasted root beer, and that person tried to recreate the flavors of root beer.
Never heard something more wrong in my entire life.
Jacob,
don't
it's just
taste a
not
thing
good.
like
What's so
Dr.
good about
Pepper.
Dr. Pepper?
I love Dr. Pepper. I will say though, I do like Dr. Pepper, but Mr. Pibb is the way to go.
Oh my,
It
this is garbage.
the way to go.
It's not.
Absolute perfection, Mr. Pibb.
Listen,
Mr. Pibb, too many bubbles for me. Too many bubbles in
Too many
Mr. Pibb.
bubbles?
Yeah.
Barks root beer or Pennsylvania Dutch birch beer is the only thing that I want to put in my mouth.
I know that's not true.
Jacob, do you also like the taste of NyQuil? Oh, you do. You just smirked a little bit.
No.
No, I wasn't. I was not offended at all when you said it kind of tastes like cough syrup because that's fair. It has 23 flavors. It's a complex profile. Not everyone's gonna like all 23 of those. But when you said it was shitty root beer, that's the part that I have a
That's the
problem
part
with.
that I'm.
So if I put Barks root beer and a Dr. Pepper in front of you, you're picking up the Dr. Pepper.
No, because that's a false equivalency. That's like saying I put
No, it's
good
not. I'm
sushi in
asking you
front of
which one you prefer.
It depends on what I want. That's like saying I put a sushi in front of you and I put a good bowl of mac and cheese in front of you. Which one do you want to eat?
Wait, what were the 2 options?
Sushi and mac and cheese.
I'm eating both of those. I'm taking both of those and I'm mixing them together and putting them in my mouth.
I normally like sushi more, but there's a lot of times I would rather eat that mac and cheese. And it's the same with Dr. Pepper and root beer. I like root beer too.
I definitely have room for both sushi and mac and cheese right now.
I got a bowl of mac and cheese right here.
So for me personally, if you put root beer and Dr. Pepper in front of me, I'm always picking the root beer.
That's not true for me. Absolutely not. I would more often than not choose Dr. Pepper because it's a less sweet, neutralier flavor.
I don't agree that it's less sweet.
Look at the sugar on a root beer. 99% of the time, it's higher than a Dr. Pepper.
I don't like
99% of the time.
A&W and I don't like Mug. I'm honestly even like lukewarm on Stewart's. For me, like Barks is the way because Barks is the tartness, but it's also very sweet.
Are you guys going to introduce yourselves ever? Or are you going to keep eating mac and cheese and arguing about?
I'm not sure right now.
I am none of the flavors of a Dr. Pepper. I am Barks root beer. And my name is Brady and I play Book the Bloodhound Brain Picker.
That's good.
I love that. That's great. No more intro. That's the end of it. That's who I play.
And I'm that spicy note of Dr. Pepper, and I play Ocean, a gentle giant who's ready to start blasting.
And I'm sodium benzate stew, one of the key ingredients in Dr. Pepper. And my favorite flavor.
God. Wait, Jacob, are you always picking Dr. Pepper over root beer?
Nah, it's completely different flavors. Different flavor profiles. You gotta pick 'em.
Okay, but more.
Depends on what I'm in the
Which
mood for.
one? Which one would you pick more often?
More often than not, I probably gravitates towards Dr. Pepper, but I do love a good root beer. I gotta be in the right mood for root beer, though, is the thing.
Because it's so sweet.
You know
Yeah.
how I know that root beer is actually better? I don't think I've met a single person who likes Dr. Pepper but doesn't like root beer, but I've met many people who like root beer who don't like Dr. Pepper.
Those people are pretentious.
Yeah, like me.
They're like, I only like ice cream. This week on BuzzFeed Presents Apocalypse, we're here with a brand new apocalyptic question brought to you by our very own Brady.
Hey everybody, this is Brady here, and this week's BuzzFeed Presents Apocalypse is: which Marvel character are you? And which DC character are you? And which of those two characters would win in a fight?
This is the worst question ever.
I think it's a good question. Book's DC character is John Constantine.
Okay, that's a pretty good fit.
Because he's very religious.
No, because he's like he does some sleuthing and he's got some weird magic stuff. Book's Marvel character is the Black Knight because he uses a sword.
Wonderful answer.
And if John Constantine and Black Knight fought, I think they would kill each other and both go to hell. So they'd both lose.
Didn't even answer your own question.
Fine. I think John Constantine would win. I think he'd kick his butt with magic.
Because he's so religious.
Sure. Because he has the power of anime and his cool friend Jesus on his side.
Yeah. It's hard to beat our cool friend Jesus. He's always going to win any fight you put him in. All right, let's see. For Marvel heroes, I think the Hulk would be the most apt comparison, I think, to Ocean, because, you know, he's smart and kind of like meek and mild mannered most of the time, but he can get pretty mean and nasty when he needs to. For DC characters, I don't know much of DC characters, but I think Cyborg would be the closest comparison I can think of. I think Cyborg would be a pretty close pick, but I think the comic book character I see most similar to Ocean is probably Hellboy, who I didn't realize, but is not DC or Marvel. So I couldn't use that one. But I think if the Hulk and Cyborg got in a fight, Hulk would win every time.
Easy peasy. Okay, I actually don't have my answer yet because I was thinking of better ones for you. Brady, your DC character is Robin, and your Marvel character is Moon Knight.
That's pretty good, actually.
Wait, why is my Marvel character Moon
Jacob,
Knight?
you're a shitty detective.
Fair enough. Robin is very good. Robin is very good.
Yeah, Robin is the correct answer, but no, you're Moon Knight because you...
Can I be Nightwing instead of Robin?
No, you're Robin. Book is Moon Knight because he approaches things as a detective, but then loses his shit and beats someone with a stick.
I love that, actually. I'm changing my answer to that. That's a way better answer.
My call for Ocean for a DC character is Doomsday.
Doomsday?
Yeah, definitely old school Doomsday, not whatever movie he was in recently. I didn't see that movie, but I heard it was bad.
But Ocean's a good guy. He's not Doomsday.
Doomsday just does what he was told. He's
true.
not. He doesn't know.
He's a kind of a biomechanical monster.
He had a past of torture, and he's also the coolest because whatever kills him, he can't kill the guy again, which is just a really cool concept.
Ocean's Marvel character is Wolverine. No memory.
No, I think it's the Thing.
The Thing's a good choice. The Thing is a great choice for Ocean.
I can hear him saying it's clobbering time.
Wolverine, no memory.
Wolverine's too badass for Ocean, though.
Ocean's a massive badass.
He is, but Wolverine... I don't think Ocean as gruff and gritty as Wolverine is.
Yes, he is.
The Thing is perfect, actually. The Thing is perfect.
Disagree.
Because he's big and strong, but he's also goofy and, tender-hearted. The Thing is a great choice.
Marvel, I'm going to go with Ant-Man. And then I wish I was Moon Knight, but I'm going to go with Ant-Man. And then DC, I don't know DC as well. I know more DC villains, so I'm going to have to go with Solomon Grundy.
Who's Solomon Grundy?
You don't know Solomon Grundy?
I don't know Solomon Grundy.
It's okay. Someone will laugh at that. Ant-Man always wins because everyone knows why.
Goes up the
Go
butthole.
in your butt and make big yes. Book Snooker Book Takes. The controversial take today.
God.
For a couple of reasons. One, it's not super post-apocalyptic.
And you give
Which I
us
understand.
shit for...
It is trans-apocalyptic. It's happening during an apocalypse, maybe or maybe not. Who knows? It's And also there's two versions of this media there's strong opinions that I disagree with on it. So the show...
Is this a fucking Warhammer book?
This is the 7th Warhammer book. No, I'm kidding. This is a show called Utopia, which you can watch on Amazon Prime. And you should.
I've heard of that.
It's super good. So it's all about a group of young adults that find a copy of a graphic novel / comic book that no one else has seen before. And it's the sequel to this other comic book that they've all been obsessed with that they think predicted future diseases that were happening. It's all they get their hands on the sequel to it called Utopia. The old one was Dystopia. And the sequel is Utopia. And then shenanigans ensue. Oh. That's where it gets exciting. There's like a mysterious organization who keeps trying to kill them and get the book. There's apparently maybe the character from the comic comes and like sees them and is like, hey, I'm this main character. Do what I say. And it's super good. It's super fun. John Cusack plays a billionaire in it. And I think it's really good, but there's two versions of it.
What year is this from?
2020, which is why it did a really bad job because it was about a bunch of diseases and it came out literally the year everyone was hiding from COVID.
That's bad timing.
Also, it's a remake of a British series from like 2013. And when I saw that, so I like started the first episode and saw that it was a remake and I was like, oh, which one should I watch? And when I looked it up, universally, everything I saw was the US version sucks. It's garbage. It's the worst thing I've ever seen in my life. Don't watch it. Somehow it had a 50% on Rotten Tomatoes still. But everything I read from a human being typing was like, never watch it. But all those people were also fans of British Utopia that I saw. And then I realized a lot of the things people were complaining about, not to cast aspersions on anyone's opinions, especially if anyone is listening who shares them, but they were dumb as shit. They were like, the new one uses too much licensed music. And I'm like, what the fuck is that complaint? So I decided, I was like, okay, if it is worse, I'll just watch it first and then compare it to the British one and be like, oh, yeah, it was way worse and not be ruined by seeing the good one first. So I actually disagree and like the US one way better.
Oh, wow.
This is called Utopia?
Yes. So I recommend doing what I did and watch the US version first because apparently everyone who watched the British one first hates the US version. So you might as well watch that first and then do a nice, fair, even comparison. And I did really like them both. So I do want to say both versions are awesome. I think they're excellent. It's a super interesting story. There's a lot of mystery. It's very violent. So if you don't like that stuff, definitely stay away from it. But it is very cool, very exciting, very mysterious the entire time. But if you've been scared of watching the US one because all these huge fans of British Utopia have told you it sucks, I'd give it a chance. I think the reason most people don't like it, who like the old British one, is there's one particular character that is vastly different in the two series. And I think she was like a favorite during the first one, and she's so different in the US remake that it's like if you were a fan of this character you'd be like, who is this? But to me it's just like a completely different approach on that character, and I happen to find the US one more interesting of an approach.
Are they based on a book?
Not based on a book, not based on a novel. It was an original series. The British one is like, I would say, more like beautifully filmed, and the music is better despite me making fun of that complaint. It's all original score stuff, I think, and it does sound really good, which is why people complained about the second one being licensed music. But that didn't take anything away from the US version to me, and I think it's definitely worth watching and a fun time for all. So I think, how about each of you watch one of them?
And we can argue who's the better one.
Yeah, one of you watched the US one of you watched the UK one. Then we recap the entire story live.
Okay. Jacob, which one do you want to watch?
The UK one, because I'm a pretentious asshole.
This is pretentious.
I'm the one Stu was making fun of.
Okay, I'll watch the US one.
Excellent. I'm ready for this battle of the Utopias.
Hell
because
yeah.
I want to see if you feel the same way, Jacob, because then I'm going to make you watch the US one. And if you watch it and you're like, oh, this sucks, then that'd be very interesting to me, because I'm also a little pretentious, so I was like expecting to watch the first one and be like, yeah, this is better. This is a much better series, but I really like the US one. So everyone go watch either one or both and email us which one's your favorite.
I'm less pretentious, but I'm pickier than both of you. So I'm interested to see if I hate it, because like I won't have the pretentious aspect because I'm gonna watch the US one first. So it's gonna be interesting if I just like the US one at all.
That is good. Like, we do have a good coverage here where Jacob is very pretentious and picky. You're not pretentious and
picky,
and I'm pretentious and not picky.
Yeah.
because I like everything.
For context on about how pretentious I am, my favorite anime is Neon Genesis Evangelion.
Mine too.
My favorite ending for Evangelion is the original ending of Neon.
Oh my God.
Evangelion, followed very closely by End of Evangelion. And I hate the rebuild films. I hate them so much.
Oh my God.
Doesn't everyone pretty much universally agree that it got better after?
Yes. Every single person in the world is like, I can't believe he did it. He pulled off the most insane.
The classic Evangelion. Evangelion and End of Evangelion. Perfection. Rebuilds.
I'm going to kill Ocean in this episode.
You bastard.
Okay, with all that good talk of utopias and Evangelions, let's get back to the action. Last episode, a lot of shit came together. There's been a bunch of progress in defending the Boxcar Children's homeland, the Baffles, from a potentially upcoming flood. You guys got a lot of prep work together for maybe some infiltrative actions into the tower. And the last thing that occurred was you supercharged the TTE that Johnny Hertz uses to transmit his very funny, very good radio show to everyone, and tried to communicate with the surface. Targeted the top of the giant transfer that is the thing that's going to flood and potentially dump oceans of water into the deep dark below. And at first you didn't have much success. You sent a message out asking them to re-engage the transfer.
Activate the pumps to drain the transfer so that when the doors open, nothing bad happens.
But all you got back was a steady repeating SOS from that location.
Ooh.
Ocean, right now, you kind of planned out a way of draining water if it ends up flooding this area. You think you have a map using the crazy imaging map device that you just realized may have been hijacked by the tower, but you used it good enough to see some kind of weak areas around the outskirts of some tunnels that with some wise planning and barricades and maybe a little salt, you can convince the water to go flow towards Subtropolis. So you're executing some explosions to try to make that happen. Is that right?
Yes, I'm digging the tunnels.
Excellent.
Yep. So I did some volumetric analysis. There would be, I didn't write the number down. God fucking damn.
My God. I'll give the recap.
Hold on. It was, it was, I remember it. It was 12.5 billion cubic feet of water.
Oh God.
And that's about, anyway, it was, if Subtropolis is 450 square miles, which is about, what did we say, like 22 miles by 22 miles if it was square. So it's probably bigger than that. That would get us to 10 feet deep. So the water would probably get to less than 10 feet deep.
I think that's enough though.
Yeah, no,
some shit up.
I think
that's a lot of water.
Well, enough to make things. It would definitely
it'd be wetter.
It would be swampy.
There'd be more water.
Yeah, no, but what I'm saying is, I don't think we would be causing like a genocide.
I will also say, I'll inform you that there could potentially be more water at the top.
That's true. We don't know how long this is.
Wait, I thought you said the top was sealed and we'd just be emptying what's in the transfer.
That's what you assume is going to happen.
Oh no.
Yeah, there could even be less water though. Remember, it's like locks. It's like vertical locks. So it could just be like one big chamber of water. Yeah. You're not sure.
But regardless, like that's a destructive amount of water that would certainly, like, it would knock over buildings for sure.
Yeah. I mean, especially near where you pour it.
It would be like a tsunami. Like a tsunami doesn't raise the sea level that much, but because of the volume of water that moves through in that short amount of time.
It's all about impulse.
Yes.
The change of momentum.
Yeah.
Due to the potential energy of this water.
But the point is, I don't think many people would drown.
Their knees would get clean blown off.
They would just get eviscerated.
I think if we're going to go through the flooding Subtropolis plan, Ocean would like to work on sending a message out through Subtropolis telling people to evacuate to high ground.
Ocean, we are the high ground. That's going to bring everyone here.
No, people higher up in the buildings or other spots. Subtropolis is like in a basin, isn't it?
Yeah, from your perspective, definitely. You are up on this. There's these long switchbacks that go back and forth that lead up the precipice to which is where you're at. It's really big. It's like a nice normal mountain you'd see in the Blue Ridge Mountains probably, but it is, I think at some point we said how long it takes to climb up and down, and we made it a little faster because we got tired of stuff taking forever, but it's big.
Yeah, lots of people listen to Johnny Hurt's podcast, right?
Yes.
I want to put out a message on the podcast.
Insert my old stinger for Johnny Hurts' show. Welcome to The Truth Hurts with Johnny Hurts. I'm joined today by one of our dearest and strongest friends, Ocean. I heard that you had a very important message for us.
Yeah, I just wanted to let everybody know that 5 days from now, I can give you guys on good faith, that you do not want to be in Subtropolis. I recommend everyone, any warlords, local warlords, or scavengers who are currently out there, to either get on top of a tall building or get to higher ground. Get out of the basin that is Subtropolis. Head to the tunnels, the Long Dark, anywhere. But in 5 days, Subtropolis will not be somewhere that you want to be. I'm trying to leave it vague so that way the tower doesn't fully catch on.
An ominous threat from an ominous man.
It's not a threat. It's just I know something that's going to happen.
Interesting. What about maybe a warlord's old penthouse? Is that going to be okay?
I think your penthouse will be okay.
Then no problem at all.
I think it already got exploded.
Yeah, I don't think there's much that anybody could do to your old penthouse that hasn't already been done to it, Crandall.
I still plan on going back there. Normally, this is The Truth Hurts, and you're clearly being a little bit evasive, and I would try to press you for more details, but I know this is an important effort with the safety of everyone in mind.
Yeah, Ocean looks at John and is like, Johnny, you know what we're trying to do.
Yes, I know the truth, and everyone trusts me, so you all can know that the truth won't hurt this time. Let's go to commercials. Book, what are you doing?
I'm sitting there with Cookie Crisp. Cookie Crisp, can we send another message?
Yeah, after his show ends.
Why did they decide to do a show?
He said he could not wait any longer.
I'm going to have to talk to Ocean about this.
Ocean said it was very important. He just barged in here.
Yeah, Ocean's on the show right now.
I don't know. He's been in charge of redirecting the water. I'm assuming it is important, but...
Johnny Hurts jumped on any opportunity to get a show back on air. He came and told me it was critically important, so Ocean either thinks it was very important or Johnny Hurts lied to me.
Okay, I wait for the on-air sign to go dark, and I immediately yank the cords and plug them back into the TV.
Okay, 7 hours later.
Okay. No. If it takes that long, I'm busting in and unplugging it anyway.
Okay, 4.5 hours later.
I want to send another message to the... Hey, does it have to be that long?
Yes, because it's funny and it takes away your precious time.
Book is like pulling his hair out. Okay.
He keeps telling you he's almost done. Like 30 minutes in, he goes up to the glass and he's like 10 more minutes. But God. It takes 4.5 hours.
Book wants to send another message to the I just want to send another message like who question mark, and then like what is going on.
You send that message.
Does the SOS message change?
Cookie Crisp changes it to the receiver mode and keeps listening.
I think we broadcast that for like an hour and then we switch it.
When you switch it back, at first it sounds exactly the same, and you just hear this beep 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 beep, and it just keeps repeating and repeating, and nothing changes the entire time you're listening to it. It just keeps repeating this SOS, exactly the same minute pause between the last S and the first S. Exact same amplitude. Nothing alters for as long as you listen to it. How many hours is that?
I think we leave it for probably 6 hours, and then I want to broadcast again. So then we do another minute on, minute off, and then we go back to listening. And we do that 6 hours off, 1 hour on.
And you keep that up. Are you trying to cover a full day's time?
Yeah.
In case someone's out wandering around and trying to get back to the place. Okay.
Yeah, I guess 6 hours is kind of a long time to go in between, but fuck it.
You do this. So I guess if you're trying to cover the day, this will be like a 24-hour period, right? You want that entire 24 hours every time you switch it to receiver, you get that exact same SOS message. Cookie Crisp has been doing some signal processing on it, trying to figure out more information from it, and it's difficult. She can't pinpoint an area or anything like that, but give me a research roll. I think there's enough information here to maybe warrant a research instead of a read a sitch. Brady missed his roll so bad that he had to leave his desk, retrieve his dice.
Botched it.
It rolled off the back of my desk.
I don't think I've ever seen you roll a dice in person, but I bet it would piss me off.
Do you want to see it here? I'll show you. Here you go.
Yeah, I was right.
What pissed you off about that?
The way you dropped it in a haphazard way.
I shook it a lot.
Yeah, you shook it, but then you just you're like a claw machine who lets go of my prize before it reaches the end point. So now I see why they just clamber out and shoot in opposite directions.
Well, I rolled 2 3s plus 3s and 9.
That's pretty good. Okay, what are you trying to find from this signal information? You'd ask me a thing you're trying to find.
How long has this SOS been broadcast for?
That is a great question. Cookie Crisp, they end up decoding a little metadata string that's in the very first S that's beeped out. There's a little signal basically hidden in there that Cookie Crisp detects every time it repeats. There's like this 5 nanosecond period where it's this bit information that Cookie Crisp has spent the last 24 hours trying to decode while you're helplessly waiting for that SOS to change in any way. And you determine that it has been outputting this SOS signal for Ocean. When did you leave the tower? How long ago was that?
It's been longer than 2 years.
4 years?
I want to say it was about 4 years, maybe even longer than that.
Long enough for us to become best friends.
Yeah, we've been together for a while now.
Does it correspond with my mom going to the surface? Because then we can figure that out. Because they were around for a long fucking time after they abandoned me.
Yeah, the problem is you don't know calendar super well, but it does seem align with that period at least. It would be somewhere around the time that Ocean escaped from the tower the first time, or maybe the last time, and then your mother left and reached the surface.
Oh, that's not good. Is there anything else in the metadata?
Yes.
I open my encyclopedia to the section on binary.
Ooh, that's fun.
Ooh, smart.
Give me a read a stitch roll with advantage.
Not my B words roll?
No, your B words roll doesn't have a roll. You just know everything that starts with B. That's giving you advantage here.
A non-natural. Oh, with advantage. Okay. Hell yeah. Well, I re-rolled a 3 and got a 1. So that's a 6 and a 3 plus 3 is 12.
Very good. Non-natural 12. Ask me 3 questions.
What should I be on the lookout for? What represents the best opportunity for me to extract more information? And who is in control here?
You grow tired of this SOS not changing at all, and you start helping Cookie Crisp decipher this little encrypted message at the beginning. And you realize it's been the stage she's at. She has a bunch of shit encoded in binary. And you very quickly take it in a pad of paper and start translating it. And it is just still a big lump of a bunch of letters and characters smooshed together. There's not much structure to it. It's not like a nice clean word with a space where you understand what's going on, but you quickly start understanding the information. And you see that the name of the thing that is outputting it has a common name associated with it. And it is Masamune.
Oh
no.
Looking at the data that's coming through, there's the signal. Somehow Cookie Crisp has unpacked a part of it that looks to be like a time series of a particular reading. And it looks like amplitude, maybe the way the units are associated with it. But it looks like it was very consistent for the majority of the time. But in the last few weeks, it started going down. So the amplitude of the signal is slightly decreasing. It does not look like much, but just a little bit. When before that, it was constant bad wording there. But for 2 years, it was the exact same amplitude. In the last couple of weeks, it's gone down fractions of a percent, but it's actually changed for the first time ever. So that jumps out to you as anomalous.
Mm-hmm. In the last few weeks, meaning maybe since the door opened or the door countdown started?
You think probably a little longer than that, but it's hard to tell.
Okay.
And as a way to potentially get more information, there's not anything else hidden in this metadata that you guys haven't unpacked. You've been able to figure it out over the last few hours here. But to get more specific information on where this thing's at or anything like that, that's not being reported out. That's not part of the metadata, the exact location. You would need to have another receiver that can detect this so you can triangulate its position. Right now, you're stuck with basically one axis of direction. But that would just help you figure out where it's at, and you feel like you have an okay understanding of its location anyway.
Yeah.
But to get its exact coordinates, you would need more receivers.
All right, Stu, I have 2 questions. First question, does that time frame for when the amplitude started getting weaker, does that correspond with when we pulled the batteries out of the moon Moonwell?
Moonwell?
Yeah, it would be right around that time.
Shit. Stu, I want to pull out the override codes, and I want to look for Masamune. Do I have any override codes for Masamune?
It takes you a couple steps to get there, but yes, you're able to look up that Cookie Crisp brought all the binders with information on the flight suits with her, and she's able to get that hardware ID for Masamune from the records, and then you bounce that off of the override codes. So yes, you have that.
Are any of the override codes like return or like home?
That's not what I was thinking this would do, but that's fun. That's a good idea. I like it. Yes. So there are a couple. I'm going to limit it because of the structure I say this. I'm going to say there are 4 override codes. Give me a straight up luck roll. So 2d7 or sorry, 2d6.
It's about to be like, wow.
Find your d7.
Okay. I rolled an 8.
Okay. You get to choose 2 of them and I get to choose 2. Something that would make sense for an override code.
Okay. I got a drone for Christmas.
Humble brag.
And my drone has an auto return home feature. So I think one of the codes is return home. Okay. And I think the other is, I guess one. Okay. The other is like remote broadcast.
Remote broadcast.
I guess what I was originally thinking was like, it just becomes like a giant speaker, but that's a terrible idea. That's stupid. So I'm going to say
there could be like an alarm one of some sort if you just wanted to make like a loud noise.
I was thinking I'm going to go back to my original idea, which is just like it triggers a RICA readout.
Okay.
A sit rep of some sort, a situational report.
My 2 are going to be one that says 0, one that says self-destruct.
One that says 0?
Yes, 0.
In the notes, is that like a factoring reset?
It says clears memory, zeros cryptographic data.
Okay, we don't want to do that one.
Seems like a bad one to hit for now.
And the other one's self-destruct? Yeah, we don't want to hit that one either.
And now I can use these against you.
So for the sit rep override code, I'm assuming that's another like DoD spec that we don't have.
The code, all of the codes are actually here for all 4 of these things. The codes are available.
Oh boy.
It looks like a very small subset that are fake redacted or whatever it is.
Right.
And it seems like it was like critical infrastructure. This was already a very top secret limited access document, but there are some of these things, I guess, getting a better understanding of it as you spent time with it, you think the ones that aren't encoded in here probably change regularly because they're such critical infrastructure. They don't want to keep it the same thing always. Like something that could break the entire door and flood underground, that's not going to be the same thing the whole time the door exists.
Right.
And they want a way to be able to change it.
Okay, that's sense.
Not true for a specific armament like the flight suit. This one is like hard coded into it forever for the device.
Okay. I want to ask, we have this override code for getting a readout from the suit. Do you think that you could send this in a couple different formats? We'll try Morse, we'll try binary. I guess we'll start with those 2 and see if we can change the broadcast that it's sending.
Absolutely. Now, let me try a few different things. And she pulls out one of those things that tumbles bingo balls. You know, when you're playing bingo and the person reads them out.
Oh, yeah, of course.
Spinny thing. Yeah, she pulls out one of those. And there's a bunch of magnets in it. And she starts spinning it really fast with her arm and then pushing on the little button as it's going along. And you're hearing some like weird ass chirps coming out. She's doing it like all sorts of different speeds. And then she stops. And then she pulls out some like random ass flash drives from her pocket and starts shoving them in random holes in some of the stuff that they brought. And she starts typing on the little thing again. And then after a little bit, she goes, oh, I think that worked. And she switches it back to the receiving channel. You get a readout of a lot. You get too much information is what I'll say. A lot of it's good, but you get a lot of information that means nothing to you. Like it's a bunch of garbage. It looks like you do like a memory dump from a Java application where it's just garbage everywhere. And you are able to pick out a few things that seem important. You do get the exact coordinates, which they look really familiar. They remind you a lot of what you saw on the board in the bottom of the Moonwell, off by a couple decimal places, like at the 3rd or 4th digit. Mm-hmm. It's like barely off. You see that it's reporting its health status as operational, but damaged. You see that it is reporting its battery life or power core health at 98%.
I want to see if I can find the last time it had a passenger.
There's an event log for the most recent commands. and a timestamp with them. And the most recent command is output SOS. And before that was to disengage the access hatch. And before that were 70 billion movement commands that is impossible to follow. And all of those happened 4 years ago.
Ooh, perfect. For the 70 billion movement commands, if I go to like the top of that, like there was nothing for a very long time, right? Because it was just standing at the defense factory. What is the difference between the first movement command and the last one? Like how long did it take it to navigate those, the maintenance corridors?
You see it's a little more complicated than that. You can't start right at the kind of not very much movement dates. You see them where they're spread out really, really far, where there's random like defensive fire commands are sent and stuff like that, which is probably people joining the Boxcar Children. Then you see when the hatch was opened, you see that date. And then there is a couple more days. And then you see the 20 billion commands. Mm-hmm. And that lasts less than an hour.
Oh, yeah.
That was probably it flying up.
Oh, yeah. I hit the return home.
You tell Cookie Crisp to enter return home. And she gets back like an okay. She gets a can go back. But you don't know anything else for a while. Smash cut. You guys are in the library. You look around and you see all of your friends, your new friends, your old friends, your people who aren't really friends, but we've given them names during this podcast. And it looks like they're all chatting with each other, but it looks like they're generally waiting to be addressed by you. But you and Ocean are together at the front. It is 1 day later.
Ocean, does the tower actually move? Do you think? Like, do you think if we use that camera that we found, pinpoint the location of the tower, do you think we could aim the water at the tower?
Yeah, that's kind of what I was planning on doing.
I mean, how are we gonna aim the water though? Is I guess what I'm saying. Like we would need a mechanism to.
I think we'd just make sure we need a tunnel. We'd have to have a tunnel that would eject it out there, right?
So we need basically we need a boring operation.
I would think so. Yeah. You said Vesuvius burned a hole through your rock, your floor, right?
Holy shit, Ocean!
What if we use the machines?
Genius. Yeah, that's fucking dope. Let's do that. Yeah, Ocean, I think that's a really good idea. We should talk to Vesuvius about that.
I'm already here. He's laying on the floor under your feet. He stuck his head between your legs and is looking up at
How shall I guess to help me do some blasting?
I would love nothing more than to blast whoever you point me to. Tell me who they are and they're melted.
It's some rocks. We're going to blast some rocks first.
My old enemy rocks. You won't believe what they did to me when I was just a head.
Wait, Ocean.
Not anymore.
Yeah. We already have the tunnels we need. Do you remember the sewer monster, the cheese monster? We followed that sewer straight back from the tower.
Oh shit,
back
you're
here
right.
to Subdropla, to Tamlet opening. All we need to do is block off. We need to collapse the tunnels that lead away from that, and then we need a way to direct the water into that sewer.
Oh shit, yeah, you're right.
And then we'll basically flood the tower from the bottom.
It's a great idea.
It'll be like a medieval siege. We'll have to extend the sewer back underneath the tower. This could be destructive. And even if it doesn't work, it'll give us a back door into the tower.
It will serve as a good distraction for us to get in, at the very minimum.
And we could collapse it like they did with the tunnels in medieval castles. What they used to do, Ocean, it was really cool. They dig a tunnel underneath a corner of the castle.
I'm not too excited about this plan.
They'd prop up
Who was saying that?
It's me, Papa Woody.
Hi, Papa Woody.
I don't like plan A to be let the doors open and flood us with water.
That's not plan A. That's not plan A.
It sounds a lot like plan A to me.
No, Papa Woody. What I was just explaining was, even if we don't flood it, it's still useful because we can use the tunnel to collapse part of the tower. So it's a good plan B, and then it's also a good way to infiltrate the tower. Because hear me out, what they used to do with medieval castles during sieges is they dig a tunnel underneath one of the corners of the castle, and they'd use...
This sounds like a plan A.
No, this is not to do with flooding. If I could just finish, there's no flooding involved. they'd prop it up with stakes, and then they'd slather all the wood that they used to prop up the tunnel with pig fat because it burns at a very high temperature. And then they'd light it on fire, they'd evacuate the tunnel, and all the supports would collapse. And then that corner of the castle would fall, which would make the walls available for them to breach.
So what you're trying to say is that even if we don't have the water pour in, we can just collapse the sewer system with some explosives.
Exactly.
And have the same sort of thing. Yeah, Papa Woody, we're gonna still try and get rid of the water and prevent it from opening. But this is something entirely. We just found another back door into the tower.
We're having a good time, Papa Woody.
Yeah, Papa Woody, I swear to you, we will do everything we can to keep the doors from opening in the first place.
Okay, as long as you promise that.
We only have 4 days, right?
Less than that, because I just said it was 1 day later. But yes.
No, you said it was 1 day later from 5 days out. So we have 4 days. I can do math.
So I think, once we finish this meeting and explain to everybody what we're planning on doing, Ocean's changing his plan now to go line the sewers with a bunch of waterproof explosives like C4 or something. If we can, I'm sure Crandall would have some.
Absolutely. Boxcar children also have lots of explosives.
This book also has a lot of explosives he hasn't told you about. No, I think that's a good plan.
And then we can have it set up to remotely detonate when we're ready to storm the tower.
All right, I think Book is going to step up to the El Podium. Everyone, I know that I haven't had time to meet with you all lately, and I'm sorry. As you can see, I've undergone some changes. I was lasered by a big robot, and that's why I look like this now.
That was me.
It wasn't.
Just kidding. It wasn't me. It was my torso.
But I want to talk to you all about what we've been doing. As some of you already know, we're dealing with the threat of action being taken by the tower to flood the baffles, which are the people like Papa Woody and Crash Shoe, who you know and love. Anyway, I wanted to give you some status on the different things we've been doing. And he pulls out a notepad like I am. The first part of the plan is to empty the transfer. That has not been successful thus far, but it's still in active development. We're hoping that we'll be able to reactivate the pumps that are at the surface to empty the transfer before the doors open. The other thing we're trying to do is to stop the doors from opening in the first place. That has also not borne any fruit yet, but we're going to continue investigating until the very last moment. We are also working on an evacuation plan that is being led by Papa Woody. Papa Woody has all of the infrastructure in place, and that plan is ready to go if we fail to stop the doors from opening or if we fail to empty the transfer. If we evacuate, we will also be diverting the water so that we do not flood the baffles and we do not flood Hamlet opening. Instead, the water will be diverted into Subtropolis and will hopefully be used to destabilize the foothold of the tower. Lastly, and the main reason why we're all here today, is we have to stop the tower from opening the doors by other means if we succeed. I don't know why they want the doors open, probably just to get rid of the baffles, but we need to get rid of the tower. It's been too long that we've lived under the threat of their invasion, and while things have been really good since we got our power source, we need more. We need a safe life, a safe existence for our town, and that means not having the yellow Humvee people looming over us. And Book wheels in a big chalkboard that has like the tunnels. It has like a little schematic of the tower, which is just a big rectangle because we have no idea what's inside of it. And then Book draws a dot in the middle of the tower. And he goes, "We are currently working to infiltrate the tower with a security camera that we have put a black back door into so that we can observe the operations and formulate a plan. But we need volunteers to help us go into the tower and save as many people as we can, but destroy the AI that runs it." And Book looks at Ocean and he says, "Ocean and I and Kara have already agreed that we will be a part of the force that will be leading the charge into the tower. But I guess and fake Suvies. And fake Suvies.
I can sit it out if you want me to, but it seems like a really big waste.
Yeah, I think we need you. But if you're willing to join us, I ask that you stay. And if anyone else is not willing to join us, we will hold it. We will not hold it against you. But I'm going to ask that you leave in the interest of keeping these plans on a need-to-know basis.
Give me a sway someone roll.
Does Ocean's presence assist? Just because he's a big, strong man. Like, I count as a group of people, right? And I'm talking about invading the tower.
I'm not saying you can't help him, but just your presence is a funny thing.
I think it makes sense.
Is me being extant a big benefit to this situation?
I mean, people know how tough and strong Ocean is. He's fucked up people.
If he needs your help, I'm gonna make you roll something else to help him.
Okay, I will see what he does first.
Okay, can I do? I didn't. Oh wait, I'm rolling. You said sway someone, which is cool. Okay, so I rolled a 6 and a 1, which is 7, but I have a +3, so that's a 10. That said, I would also like to use my new brain picker power, and I would like to, like, of all the people, like, regardless of who stays or leaves, I want to get like a little idea of if anyone might be in league with the tower.
Okay.
So I want to use, I guess, my eerie presence.
Okay, go ahead and roll that.
Okay, that is a 7 + 3 is another 10.
Read both for our listeners and maybe me.
If anyone hears keeping a dangerous or troubling secret, their brain buzzes in your perception like an overheated light bulb. Ask the MC if anyone does. If anyone hears connected more deeply to the world's psychic maelstrom than normal, then you can hear it whispering through them. So I feel like both of those will give me a really good idea if someone if someone has the psychic maelstrom. The only psychic maelstrom that we can feel here is the one from the tower. So, and obviously the deep secret thing will also be useful.
Din Wallace stands up right away and he goes, "Hey, I'll back you up with whatever you want, but what type of help are you looking for? Is this like a sneaky infiltration? Or are we going in guns blazing?"
We don't want to kill anyone who can be saved. We only want to destroy the AI. So our goal will be to slip in undetected as if we are volunteering for the open auditions.
Okay, so like I would be a great choice, but someone like Beethoven may stand out a little bit. Is that what you're saying?
I think that we could use all the help we can get. And in the interest of not divulging the full plan, I'm going to ask that if you're interested in helping you stay to hear what we're going to discuss, because we could have use for someone like Beethoven.
As you say that, Callista stands up too, and they kind of move closer and sit at a chair near like a big table where you're at. Some of the people kind of filter out a little bit. All of the silent and Kara are here, and you hear this whispering just surrounding them as you perform your weird presence. What does it look like when you're being weirdly present?
Okay, it's my eerie presence, Stu.
So your ears.
Eerie. I'm eerie. And I think what I do, like, I think at the start of that whole thing, I think my jacket was like pretty held closed. And I think when I do my eerie presence, I kind of stick my hands. Yeah, I stick my hands in my pants pockets.
No good way this sentence can end.
Like a chill guy.
So I move the jacket open, and you can see all like the tubes and the metal plates that are bolted into my chest, and like the kind of steam that's coming out of them when I breathe. And then my, I close, I kind of clench closed my good eye so that all that's still open is my robot eye, and it just kind of highlights how like screwed up my face is.
Fucked up you are, yeah.
And I'm looking at them with my bad eye, or with my robot eye, and that's where I'm getting all of my my insight from.
So you see these whispers surrounding. Yes, you see the whispers surrounding the former silent. All of the silent stay, and Kara, except actually one of them. And you see him kind of shake his head and head on out. It's one you haven't talked to too much. You also see these whispers around Intaglio, who is here and is also leaving.
So are those whispers are the psychic maelstrom?
Yes, those are. I think that's what it said you heard.
Yeah.
Right?
So if they're keeping a dangerous or troubling secret, their brain buzzes.
Not that.
And if they're connected more deeply to the psychic maelstrom, I hear it whispering.
Those are the ones you hear the whispering from.
So all of the silent and also Intaglio.
Mm-hmm. And Kara, which I know is also silent, but yes.
But not Ocean?
No, not Ocean.
What about fake Suvius?
Not fake Suvius. And the only one you feel this buzzing coming from is Johnny Hertz. And I think that's it.
Interesting. So, and nobody has both, right?
No one has both. That would be great.
So Johnny Hertz is holding a dangerous secret from us, but the others are connected slightly more to the psychic maelstrom than we let on.
Book is really offended that Johnny Hertz has been keeping things from him, because if you remember, he failed that role where he like now implicitly trusted Johnny Hertz. All right, how do we? Oh shit, the one who left.
Yes.
Or should I say, like the connection that I'm feeling from them to the psychic maelstrom? Does it feel like they're still being controlled?
Can't tell from this, but theirs doesn't seem any different than everyone else's.
What do you mean? Well, what do you mean?
The one who left?
Oh, no. Sorry. I meant all of them. Like, does it feel like they're all still able to be controlled, or does it feel like...
Can't tell from us. Ocean tried to do a open his mind thing to try to figure that out before, and it was medium optimistic.
Yeah, it was like it was still trying to reach them, but it was like they were cut off.
Can I use my brain lenses, my in-eye brain lenses? So that what that means is if I'm able to watch someone for a moment, that's effectively me being able to study them. And I feel like while I was giving that speech, I had a moment to kind of watch everyone.
Which one do you want to study?
I would like to study not the one who left. I think Kara, because I think Kara I know the most about, and so I'd get the most insight out of studying her.
So roll your deep brain scan.
Okay. That was, holy shit, a 3 and a 4. That was another 10.
Is it 2 things or 3 things?
2 questions. So my first question is, what unfinished business do you have and with whom? I feel bad doing this, but how could I really get my hooks into Kara?
Oh, you dick.
Because the other ones don't really, like, the others like, what is your deepest secret fear? And I feel like fear isn't going to help. You know what I mean? And the others, what is your,
I think
what
it's
was
a
your
great
lowest
question.
moment?
I think it's a great question, but...
You're studying Kara as she walks closer and kind of joins the group of people who are staying. Your eye just whispers to you what you have to assume are her thoughts or her feelings, even though she looks very calm and is just kind of going forward with kind of an interested look on her face to see where this is going to go. You hear, I'm going to burn it all down. The tower's done to the ground. Like she's just focused on destroying the tower, which as you're looking at her, that doesn't like fit her face, how she's looking at all. But it seems like there's this powerful yearning to undo what the tower has done.
Interesting.
And you feel like
that kind of answers both questions.
And as you're staring at her, you feel her eyes don't even go over to you. You're like, not to be offensive to you, but creepily staring at her with your one bad eye.
Yeah, no, my first impression is cold and staring now.
But it seems like she doesn't even notice. Like she doesn't really look at you. And as you're thinking about it, you don't know if you remember a time where she's ever actually like directly looked at you. And you know, the only way to get her to have any power over her or to really even understand her better would be to get between her and Ocean, who Ocean is the person that she just implicitly trusts here, which is exactly where she's looking right now as she walks up to Ocean.
I feel like that means I can use Ocean to get to her just as much as like I would have to get between them. I feel like I could also
maybe
use Ocean to manipulate her.
Yeah, if you can manipulate Ocean, it's just a manipulation chain.
Yeah.
I mean, Ocean implicitly trusts you too, so you could probably easily manipulate him. What a dick.
So Kara walks up to you, Ocean, and she says, so are you actually like doing this now? Is this all going down?
Yeah, we got to do this quick. We're running out of time. I don't know what they're planning after this for this open recruitment shit. But all I know is that when that baffle door opens, I think it's going to... I think the water in that is going to do more than just flood the baffles.
What do you think it's going to do?
I think it's going to flood. I think there's probably enough water in there that it's going to cause a real problem for everyone.
Yeah, I could see that.
I mean,
I don't remember. Was there any, when we were there, do you remember anything like this open casting call type thing they're doing?
Not that I remember.
Everyone seemed to just join and then they were like there. Like even our early days there, I don't really remember us having to like integrate with the team. It's like we just kind of fit in.
It's like they just picked where we wanted us to go.
We got our jobs and we did it. Do you think we can stop by and get cheese while we're in there?
For sure.
I'm going to save so much of that cheese. I'm going to bring, my backpack's going to be empty when we go in.
And leave with stockpiled cheese. No, I want to get as much as we can out of there. And I want to recruit as many of the people as we can. I don't think it's the tower. I don't think it's the people in the tower that are the villain, the bad guys here. I think it's just the administrator. I think I've used a different name every time I've talked about her.
Is Beethoven here, Stu? Like Den mentioned Beethoven.
He's not in the room.
Interesting. Okay, but we still have like Den, Callista.
Yes, I didn't tell you.
Is Frida here?
Frida is here. All your friends are here, definitely, including, so in addition to the normal friends, your Junipers, your Callistas, your Den Wallaces,
And a bunch of Chaos cultists too, I'd imagine.
Yes, you also have your group of Chaos cultists that were allocated to you to help out, and that does include Crash G was here as well. Papa Woody is currently here.
Yeah.
You don't know if he's going to participate. He definitely didn't leave when everyone else left, though, so he's still in the room.
And then there was a bunch of Chaos cultists who like thought I was really cool.
Did you invite all of them?
Yeah, I did.
Okay, then yes. Then they're all just following you, whatever you want to do.
Hell yeah. Okay.
Makeover.
On the whiteboard, actually, I pull Ocean aside. Ocean, this is important.
Okay.
Should we try to get the people out of the tower before it floods? If it floods.
I think if we flood I think if they notice the tower is going to be flooding, I think they're going to be prepared for it. I don't think there's much we can do to surprise them. I think by flooding it, it's more than anything just going to serve as a nice distraction.
But Ocean, there are floors below. There are basement floors, aren't they? Aren't there?
Yeah, I guess there are some levels down. I don't know how much we want to warn the tower about what we're doing.
I don't think we should, but that's why I think we need to evacuate people. Because if the tower thinks the baffles are what's going to get flooded, then there would be no reason that the tower would evacuate anyone from the basement floors. I think we need to infiltrate the tower now. I think we need to clear it out as much as possible so that if it does flood, all of the real people who are there that we can save, we get them safe.
Okay. I think that's a good plan. I think the sooner we do this, the better.
I pull up the chalkboard. We have two teams. We have the sewer team and the infiltration team. The infiltration team is going to try to turn as many people against the tower as possible. The sewer team is going to cut off all of the branches of the sewer so that the water gets directed directly into the basement of the tower if we fail to stop the doors from opening. On the 5th day, the last day, one of two things is going to happen. If we stop the doors from opening, the sewer team is going to infiltrate the tower via that tunnel. They're going to blast into the tower on that last day and rescue the people who infiltrated and all of the people who we were able to convince to leave. If we were unsuccessful in keeping the water in the transfer by whatever mechanism, that tunnel will then become our escape route, and everyone who infiltrated the tower will evacuate with whoever we were able to convince to leave the tower's influence. And then it will flood with water and hopefully destroy the tower. Does that make sense?
It makes sense. I'm not convinced that we're going to be able to very easily convince people to leave.
You're forgetting something, Ocean.
What?
We've done it before.
We're just going to have to be real careful about this if this is the way we go.
Yeah, a lot of people in there. It's harder to convince someone who's been working in an office and eating cheese for lunch every day that something's wrong. Like, you guys really reached us because we somehow were forced to come try to kill Ocean, even though we knew that was not a good thing to do and didn't have any really reason behind it. But I'm definitely with Ocean that it's going to be hard. Doesn't mean we shouldn't do it.
No, I definitely think we should at least try. I would like to get as many people as possible recruited on our side.
Every person we try to convince, though, is another link in a chain that could be broken and make us get found out.
We need to reach as many people at once as possible. It's going to put us in the most danger, but it also has the greatest chance for success. Do you want to be in the sewer team or the infiltration team? Like, won't it be dangerous for you to infiltrate? They know you. They know your face.
I think that's why I think I would do the best job at getting them to recruit me. They know me. Some of them trust me.
Ocean, it's up to you. If you want to go in as Ocean, you can do that.
I doubt I can go in as Ocean.
Here, I got you. And Vesuvius gives you his old disguise of a big bushy mustache.
Vesuvius,
And a hat.
you're gonna have to lead the tunnel team, the sewer team.
I'm going to kill so many fucking melty cheese monsters while I'm down there. Gonna be like 12 of them.
That actually makes me feel better.
Gonna melt their faces twice and can't believe you thought I was one of them.
Have you ever seen one?
No. Anything with a melty face, it's getting more melted. Double melt.
I can get behind that. After the meeting ends, what was that thing that I said I wanted to do? Oh, check on the camera.
Okay, the meeting wraps up. You think you've given some good guidance. You know who's now on your team for the infiltration activities. You've worked on like divvying out who goes what and who goes where, but we can describe it when it's actually happening. Yeah. Two people run up to you who weren't in this room and are somewhat your friends. Simultaneous as you run out, you see Cookie Crisp runs to you, and you see Randy Candy. Both come up like at exactly the same time and look confused at each other. And they both try to talk, and they both talk over each other. And then Randy Candy kind of steps back and goes to Cookie Crisp. And Cookie Crisp says, so we lost the signal on that Masamune for a super long time, but I ended up tracking it back down, and it's reporting, like, it just says obstructed is the only status it's giving back. And it's still like way up on the surface. I don't know what stopped it from coming, but it's not able to reach back down here.
Shit.
My news is much better. I have a camera feed of the lobby of the tower.
Oh, hell yeah. That is much better news.
Yeah. Suck it, Cookie Crisp. Sorry, that was mean. Like, hope we all have good news, but I was worried you were going to like upstage my news. Do you want to look at it?
Yeah, of course.
You're back in Book's cave, and he pulls open a laptop, and there's a screen that shows that giant lobby. It looks different than any of the times you've seen it, Ocean. I know it's been a long time since we've described this room. First time you saw it was first time episode chronologically you saw it. It looked like a makeshift hospital with a bunch of beds in it, haphazardly thrown around where an unconscious Book McCready was found. In your memories, it looked like a very nice standard lobby that pretty much no one was ever in, except when you walked through it for the first time to meet, and when it became a little bit more ominous when you left. Now it looks like almost a fun convention center. There's not any people there right now, but you see there are tables set up. There's little boards. There's TVs playing loops of different TV shows all around the outside. And there's a big sign that says open auditions right on top of the elevator. That's all you see right now.
Is there anybody in there?
No people right now. You got a very convenient angle for this camera. They put it really high up at a good angle, and you can see that the doors are all closed.
I think we just need to keep an eye on this.
Yeah, I think we need somebody to stand watch on this. Keep an eye on the footage.
Do you want me to just like tell you if anything changes?
Can I does it seem legit? Is there any chance that this is like that they cottoned on to the back door that we put in?
What are you doing to try to tell?
Okay. In the back door, does it give us the ability to move the camera? Move like back and forth?
Yeah, I'd say you could send basic controls to it, but you feel like that would certainly increase the risk of someone noticing something being wrong.
Okay, then never mind.
You can send like very basic commands, like off, on, record, stop record, and the little bit amount of movement available on it.
Yeah, I was gonna say like if we moved it and changed the perspective, we could see if we were just like looking at like a tiny little set. Yeah. But I don't want to do that.
Ocean, with his experience being in the tower twice now, can he kind of like play close attention to it and see if there's anything that feels off about the image?
Give me a read a sit roll.
I do have psychically good read a situation. That is a 10, actually, thanks to my +1 psi being added to read a situation.
Ask me 3 questions.
What represents the best way for us to get into the tower without being seen? What represents our best way to determine the footage is real? And what should I be on the lookout for?
Okay. You are staring at this footage, looking for any indiscrepancy, looking for any sign that it's not just a picture, like, because it is not moving besides the like number in the corner that's counting the time. You do eventually notice like a super small little blowing in the corner of one of these banners that looks like maybe AC is moving it, just like the tiniest little wiggle. So you don't think it's a still picture. And then something kind of startles you for a second as the elevator opens and out comes a person walking, and you recognize them as the person who ran the desk the first time you got into the tower. And you talked to him about Leonardo DiCaprio and some other stuff before you met the overseer of the tower for the first time. And he's going out and he's laying out some pamphlets and some papers and some like sign up forms on one of the tables. And then he goes back into the elevator and he closes and he goes up. At first it seems completely normal, but you realize he did place all of the stuff where you could like easily see it from the camera.
Oh, that's sus.
Like there's tables all around here, but it definitely looked like he put them all on the ones where you could see it, and you're actually able to like lean in and read some of the text off of the documents, and they all look very official and normal. Like, hey, input your name, date, address, all that sort of stuff. Or some pamphlets that are talking about the major different like genres of television shows that they're looking for people to interact with. So that is definitely sus, as you said, as you cool Jinzier said. And so the best way to get in without being seen, the only real answer to this is certainly not this door. Not only is this already seen by this camera, even if you could turn this off, you see other cameras are available in this room. You can see them on the footage that across the room. There's another camera facing the other direction, basically mirrored from this spot. You think going into this room, you will be seen by high quality cameras. If they're the same quality of the one that you sold back, which you would have to assume is probably true, you will be seen pretty much anywhere in this room quite well. So you would need a really good disguise to not be probably immediately detected as Ocean as you walk in here, which you don't know if, again, you don't know if that's a good or a bad thing.
I think I've got my plan for how I'm going to do it, but I'll let you keep reading.
Okay. I think that's all I have.
Stu, did I have time to do a deep brain scan on the guy that appeared on the screen? And can I do it through a camera?
I will say you cannot do it through a camera unless you somehow installed your eye on the camera, which is definitely possible. You could have like input your eye on this camera before you returned it to him somehow. Then I would have let you do a deep brain scan on people who walked by.
Okay.
But you did not do such a cool, exciting, fun thing. You kept your stupid eye in your stupid head.
Dummy.
Fair.
You absolute buffoon.
Can't believe you didn't think about putting your eye in the camera.
Yeah, no, I didn't. I did not think about putting my eye in the camera.
All my puzzle pieces perfectly placed. I'm kidding. I clearly didn't plan that.
Ocean, you were right. If all it takes is for me to whisper truths into the PA system, maybe I should go alone.
Ocean nods for a second and sits there in silence. But then he turns to Book and says, I think the only way we're getting into the tower is if I go under the pretense that I'm joining again. I think that's the best way. I go in, say I'm here to rejoin the tower. They'll get me in. I don't know what they'll do to me, but at the very least, I'll get in. And I can help open the way up for you and the rest of us to come.
I don't think they'll trust you, Ocean.
I don't know. She's been trying to get me back multiple times now. I don't think they'll just kill me on sight. I think she wants me for some reason. Because that's what she was trying to do at the nuclear reactor, was to get me back. And when they sent them after us, it was to kill everybody, but it also was to get me.
Someone's been listening to our old episodes.
They want me for something, and I think I can use that.
I'm not letting you go alone. You're going to have to get me somewhere that I can speak to everyone in the whole tower, and then we'll bring it down.
You want to join too?
No, not even a little bit. But I will go under the pretense of the open casting call. But one other thing. We really need to figure out if these doors are going to fucking open or not first. So I think we want fake Suvius to be in charge of, because he can melt rock with his boots. We want him to melt a tunnel from the opening to the sewers, right? And then we want other people to work on demolition for the sewers to funnel water.
Yeah, I think so. Wanting to use him to dig in. What if we go to infiltrate the tower and you attempt to shut down the code to open the gate in the first place? I'm sure it's a remote execution. They sent it over here.
They sent it over my laptop. That means we'd have to plug my laptop back in and give them access to it again. We'd have to... we have more of their laptops. I don't know computers very well. I've pretended like I did in the past, but in reality, computers are not my strong suit.
Randy Candy here. I'm good with computers. You guys kind of stepped a couple steps away from me this whole time, and I've been awkwardly waiting for you to be done. But
wait, are you infiltrating the tower with us?
Ken, if you want to, not really good with that sort of stuff. I was thinking I could stay out here and help remotely. But maybe even with that plan that Ocean was just saying, I can wait or even use one of your clean laptops, keep it hooked up to the door. And if you have any way of connecting to it or even reaching to me and telling me what to input, I can be ready to override the override.
Yeah, I think that's our best bet.
Like it doesn't have to be controlled. This one's clean now. It doesn't have to be controlled by the tower. I can just set up our own network or something like that you could, again, I have no idea how their crazy shit works, but if it was able to reach this thing in the middle of a freaking cavern, we could probably set up something you could also reach somehow.
I think that'll work.
I think that's our best bet.
I want to start that pile of like gifts that I got after I hit the thing with the sword. I wheel that out on my little red wagon, as well as
so many red wagons.
Lots of red wagons. I wheel out my red wagon of explosives, and I start wheeling them towards Ocean's garage. And we're gonna go get his stuff too. Ocean, what stuff do you bring out?
What are we doing? What are we working on? What you wheeling my stuff to?
We're prepping for battle.
Oh, Ocean. I see.
Imagine an urukai realizing that meat was back on the menu.
I grab book and start eating them.
True love.
Okay. First things first, Ocean wants to gather up all of his silent garb that we've got, and he wants to make sure it's in working condition, and he wants to patch it up so that way it's looking like it hasn't been through hell.
Yes, dramatic music of you clinking it on, the cool superhero suit up scene, but then also interspersed with like 20 seconds of you sewing patches.
Exactly.
You're a very good sewer, has been determined right now. Yeah, you're able to get that. It looks good afterwards. Everything seems to be working order. The helmet still works.
I think Book has stuffed every like pocket he has with like some type of like weapon or tool or whatever from that stack of stuff. And then he wheels he gives the wheelbarrow or the red wagon full of explosives to Fake Suvius, who's gonna lead the demolition team, who's gonna block off. They're gonna make a tunnel to the sewer, and then they're gonna block off all of the exits of the sewer so that we can flood the tower. And then I think what's one last thing that we have to do before we leave, Ocean? Kiss. We're not gonna kiss. We kiss after we destroy the tower.
Ocean's going to look through his stuff to try and find a device that he can bring with him in his garb that he can use to transmit a message to Kara.
You find a pager and a cell phone.
Yeah, Ocean, he'll take the cell phone and he'll go to Kara and he'll give Kara the pager and here's a pager. I'll send you a message letting you know what the plan is going to be. I'm expecting you to lead the tunnel team to blow the tower, to blow the water so we can flood the tower.
I'll do it. I don't like leaving you to go do this by yourself, but I know we got to have people out here too. But if you need anything, let me know. Just page me, say, come on in, and I'll find you.
That's the plan. I trust you.
All right. I think Book and Ocean, it's the eve of battle. They're on the precipice of Hamlet opening, looking out over Subtropolis. And I think Book takes the orb out of his pocket and he holds it up so that the tower, like when there's like a convex lens and it kind of warps the shape of something, he lines up the tower inside of the orb, and he ponders the orb on the eve of battle.
Give me a ponder orb roll.
Okay.
Yeah, there's no roll. You just have to ask me.
And then in my head, I ask it, what do I do?
The orb stares back at you as you look at it, and you hear these whispers just roiling in your ears, and the words start coalescing, and you hear just flood, all of it, all of the underground, flood. And you feel it pushing you to not just do a nice little jet of water into the tower. It wants you to put this shit all underwater. And Ocean, as you look out over the precipice, you immediately feel like you guys were maybe a little hopeful. Obviously, it's been very stressful, short period of time, but it seems like a plan was coming together. You guys were set on something. And as you look out towards the tower, there's just this immediate sinking in your chest, and you feel like the gray wing of death is just hovering over the tower. And you know it's not that there will be challenges or pain or even a death here. You know there's going to be many, many deaths over the next 24 hours.
You Bastard.
Snuck it in. Thank you so much for listening to this week's episode of Oops, All Apocalypses. I'm not sure if season 1 is going to make it to episode 80, so there may be a Oops All Talk Apocalypse for the entire first season happening sometime soon. So if you have any questions related to the entire series or us or anything or what we have planned next, you can go ahead and send them to us at oops@stu.cool. There's going to be at least like 5 more episodes though. The music and editing was performed by Stu Masterson. Brady McDonough made the art and logo. And Jacob unsweetens our sweet tea. Love you, bye.
Hold on now, real second. I'm looking up characters on DC, and I found a new one that I propose for Stu to be, and it's just from the picture and his name. And allow me to post him in our little Discord. You can take this off the air.
Okay, live reaction.
I propose Mr. Bones.
Yes,
Why is Mr. Bones breathing?
He's so cool. He's vaping a woman.
Exactly.
He looks just like me. We have the same skin tone.
Hey, email
Classic
in if you
Mr.
could have
Bones.
thought of a better Marvel or DC character for Book and Ocean and Stu.